high spiritual teacher, all of a sudden, as they merge with you, your awareness, your being, your love, your what you know when you're at the highest point comes through and is very present. And that's what Scott and I both felt when we were with them. It's just, it reminds you how you can function at another level. And they're really on the path to teaching people about ascension, which is the awakening that's happening on the planet now. And it's not just about getting high, it's about really clearing, cleaning, letting go of all the healing that you need to do. And then you can raise up to another frequency and operate at a whole new level, which is the divine human. And so that is what they're here to share with us and teach on all sorts of levels. And we're so grateful that they're sharing so much with us, and it's such a beautiful merging now. So thank you, Shekinah and Sananda, for being with us tonight and all that you have to share with us.
Thank you, beloved Debra, and thank you, Scott, and also thank you, Johanna, for your beautiful music and just soul expression. Really felt that. And thank you for everyone that's joining us tonight. It's beautiful to be in more of an intimate container and have more the fluidity of spontaneity in whatever shows up, whatever questions arise, and also whatever teaching comes through. And so we want to first off begin just presencing everyone, just taking a few deep breaths, and as we're going back within to that still point, that silence, that pure awareness of this moment. Just want to presence the one true spirit here. All the ancestors, all the future generations, all the present generations are one with the great spirit, the great Holy Spirit. From our intention, we choose to bring forth whatever feels in the highest alignment for what is needed today. So maybe just take a moment to place your hand on your heart, just focusing on the rhythm of your heart and giving appreciation to your beautiful heart that gives you breath in this moment. That spirit enlivens within you in order for you to take breath. Spirit is another word for breath. Coming back to the breath, bring presence, bring awareness to this eternal moment, so we can set a new foundation for a whole new trajectory of a higher expression that we all have to offer and co-create together.
We want to talk about sacredness for a moment and really honor the body, your sacred body, as sacred. Because there's so many secrets hidden within this body that makes it very sacred. And so as we spend this time now, just really sit, just for a couple of moments, honoring your body as a temple, as a true temple of God that is upholding wisdom, that is upholding divine power and divine love. And see your vessel as a transmitter and a transducer, to transmit and receive with every organ right now. And as we take these moments to find gratitude just for being alive, just for the eyes to see and the ears to hear, not so much what the eyes are seeing or what the ears are hearing, but just the fact that existence is. is what we want to be in gratitude for right at this very moment. Because what that does is that silences the noise of the world, the external, and brings you to the internal peace and silence that you already are.
And in this moment, we are in what's known as a harmony period. At certain equinox alignments and solstices, and as we just pass the equinox, there's a period of time that all the grids, the nervous system, the endocrine system, the meridian system of our planet is in her harmony period. And where we are right now, in the middle of the Twin Ray Temple, is in a sacred node. And the visual of this sacred node is like a chalice. It's like a toroidal filled golden chalice that has a vortex coming in and a vortex going around, and it's circulating. And there's millions of these nodes around in certain categories, certain levels of potency and power. And where we are right now, this node is a transmitting station. It's a transmission and a transmittal of these high cosmic plasmic frequencies that are being ushered into the earth right now. And we want to present that because each one of you are a part of this one cohesive morphogenic field. And whatever comes through, whatever feelings that are felt, it's being transmitted out into the world in the most positive, loving way to support the collective.
And what's so important about these plasmic waves that are coming in from outside of the solar system, into the solar system, into and onto the earth, is because they are, in fact, creating great mutations within the DNA of the human species. And this has certainly been happening since 2017, which is when the first waves started to enter into the earth at such a level. And what's happening is that as the species begins its mutation, it goes through certain symptoms, which we call ascension symptoms. And these ascension symptoms are what humanity is experiencing, whether they know it or not, whether they realize that it is in fact a symptom of a recalibration and even a reconfiguration of the human vessel and template.
Yes, because this cosmic energy, it mutates and transfigures the cells, the genetic sequence within the body. And so during these periods, there's high coherent streams that are coming into the grids in order for your human grid system, this biological temple, to receive that and those upgrades. And we want to presence the service of this ascension journey, this Christos Sophia mission, so to speak, which is basically the mission of unifying the masculine and feminine and rising that masculine and feminine to complete harmony, in complete purity, in complete virtue, and being that living expression of the sacred nature of what the human race was actually created for. And as Scott mentioned earlier, just presencing the ancestors, and gave a beautiful sharing of the story of the monarch butterfly, the 5 generations that it takes to travel from Mexico to Canada. I mean, that's astonishing if you just reflect on that and presence actually what it took for your vessel, your sacred temple, your holy temple to be here now. And one of the sacred teachings that we share to our community is about genetic liberation. And at this time point, genetic liberation is at a very powerful ascension point where more of the DNA, the genetic sequences in the human genome are being liberated, are being freed. And what genetic liberation essentially means is that when you fully awaken to the truth of the one being, the one Holy Spirit, the one Christ Sophia, the one self of all selves. And remember your universal human blueprint, your divine human nature, and awaken and realize that, and then manifest that into the energetic light body, into the subtle energy bodies, into the physical gross body, and manifest that into its full purity and perfection. What that does is transcends the genetic template of your ancestors backwards in time and forwards in time. And so what that essentially does is frees all the karma of the maternal line and the paternal line, all the ancestors that have lived out the days on this realm to support this incarnation of yours. It's the greatest service that you can do to actually free the genetic template of your ancestors, the genetic tree of life, and use your instrument as a vessel, as a service vehicle to free not only just your own paternal, maternal lines, but the collective genetic lines, to upgrade the species, to transcend the human genetic sequences into a higher oscillation rate, to absorb more light, to become more coherent with its cosmic nature.
Which is really what the original human was designed to do.
Exactly. What was known as the Adam Codman, or the divine feminine as well, the Eve expression of the Codman, or the Atma nature, and manifesting that nature as the Atmic presence. In the East, that was known in the individual expression, and in the cosmic expression, it was known as the Brahma consciousness, that one spirit of the universe. And so the original human genetic sequence and template of why it was incarnated, for divinity to incarnate into individual temples to experience subjectively and objectively reality. It was done in order for the most exquisite technology and the most advanced technology of this cosmos to be manifested into this realm. And then, of course, there's been aeons and aeons of times, and we're in a new cosmic cycle where that remembrance of our true divine heritage is circling back around. And then no one gets left behind. There's this ancient prophetic statement of leaving no one behind. What that truly means is liberating your full vessel, your full being, and liberating all the ancestral lines. And that frees up a new genetic sequence to live without suffering, without the aging program, to receive the true nourishment of rejuvenation that the cells are equipped and have the technology to do to actually become immortal. And so a lot of these teachings that we share are based on the birthright, the very birthright to what it is to actually take a human vessel, to incarnate the full angelic, virtuous purity and potency of your true nature into this physical realm, and not just experience a heaven outside of you, but be the heaven within you, unlock the kingdom and queendom of heaven within, and usher that in life to all who may have forgotten. And the keys that unlock that kingdom and queendom are your divine nature, which is love.
And your virtues.
And the purity of your virtuous heart, the sacred heart. So we always like to presence that, to know what you're capable of, what you're really here to do. And some have forgotten this sacred divine science to actually alchemize and purify all the triggers and all the wobbles and all those things that think the lesser mind, to alchemize that into the divine mind, into the divine heart, into the divine truth of who you are. You're nothing short than a miracle. A true, miraculous, majestic miracle. The fact that you're taking breath in this moment. This whole universe had to be created for this moment itself. And when we forget that, they live a life with only one eye open, and not the celestial eye, the true eye, but only one eye that's seeing through duality and not seeing through the unity. And so we always want to mention the potency of each one of you and the power of love. And this is a progressive path, but also a direct path. The direct path of acknowledging that you as awareness, if you ask yourself right now, are you aware? And that motion of yes, I am aware. That awareness itself is divinity itself right here, right now. Nothing that you had to learn can answer that question. No technique can bring that question out. It's just as simple as that. Are you aware? Yes. And knowing that that awareness within you is the divinity right here, right now, that manifests the maturation of your highest divinity incarnate into the flesh made of light. And so that has been our inspiration, to inspire each one of you to remember your true nature as divinity. Right here, if you have awareness right now, which you do, just as you see us on this screen, you see the images on this screen, but it's part of one screen, the one screen of consciousness. That is your true nature. And consciousness, Holy Spirits, the Christ, the Sophia, Brahma, Allah, God, Goddess, it's all the same word, and the essence of it is always the same meaning. And it's in you, it is you, and we are here just a shining, smiling reminder that you are already that. It's just a process of manifesting that into your actuality.
And really that's one of the things that we are so passionate about and love the most is there's some teachings that say, well, you're not your body. You're not your mind, you're not this. Well, no, but you are in a body and you're not just a body, right? So we don't want to discount this beautiful expression of where we can actually feel and experience the magic and the majesty of it all. And we sometimes feel that with teachings that gets lost in translation. So we honor these temples so greatly. And for us, it's about bringing divinity into these temples, into these vessels, taking all of these miraculous teachings about what you really are at the absolute core, at the truth that has never changed and could never change. But this is the focused expression that you've chosen to come in with in order to have these phenomenal experiences. And this is what we call phenomenology, because it is taking present within the body and within the many bodies that house this entire experience. And so we feel it's really important our specialty is the light body, really working and understanding what a light body is and how when you actually are cultivating, because there's a difference between cultivation and imagination.
Yes.
And imagination is beautiful. We can close our eyes and imagine everything, because all the mind knows how to do is dream. It dreams itself a dream, and it dreams again, and it redreams again. But cultivation is actually a very important piece to this entire process. And so we teach very specific ancient practices of cultivation in order to birth a light body.
Yeah, and understanding the human alchemy, the inner alchemy, the sacred Christ alchemy. Because Ascension, even though as a global planet and as a collective, or as a plane where we're ascending this density or dimensionality, it's also an inner journey. And there's an alchemy that takes place that changes the biochemistries. It changes the very secretions of your hormones. It changes the different glands that secrete certain biochemistries. It's an inner process that changes the cells actually absorb light. When that reality becomes an actual embodiment, then your mind, your emotions, and all the levels and layers of your light body, it shines like a clear mirror for divinity to shine brightly throughout your life. And there's no individuation, or there's no divide or individual nature or separation that is perceived. When your heart is burst open with the love of divinity, For the source of love itself is literally within your heart. And when you access and taste that nectar, you don't experience anything but that love. You can't experience anything but that love, because by default you're the awareness of love, and everything arising within that awareness is a manifestation of love. This is one thing that we shared in our last retreat with the Unio Mystica, was that love, life, and light are one and the same thing. And how that's experienced is love is a pure, unadulterated, and pure integral awareness. That's just pure awareness itself. That is the awareness of the I, that's awareness of the mind, that's awareness of the body. That is love. That is a source. That awareness is also synonymous with consciousness. That consciousness is the I in the I am. And so that is love. And then what light is everything that you can see, perceive. Anything
that's perceivable.
That's perceivable is light, is photons of light, is a wave of light with different modulations that create the illusion of physicality and objects. But it's just one sea of light with different vibratory rates that give the appearance of different objects. But it's just really just atoms and a sea of light. And then life is the experience of all of it coming together and experiencing the duality but the unity as one organism together. So love, light, and life are the same exact experience, and the only experience that you can ever have. Understanding and knowing in understanding that love is pure consciousness, is pure awareness, as the true I am. I is consciousness, and light is reality of existence, and life is the experience of all of that in a wholeness. And so when we say love and light, and we acknowledge that love and light, now we can understand it at a deeper level, to acknowledge that love, light, and life are always present, are always here, and is your true nature at all moments. No matter if the mind may not be paying attention because it be going through a little bit of a self-evaluation process, always at the core of your being is love. At the experience of your beingness is light, and the joy of all of this miracle is life itself.
So with all of that, oftentimes we hear people speak about, well, this is loving and this is not loving, or this is love and this is not love. And there's a judgment there that takes place. This action feels good, so it's love. This action doesn't feel good, so it must not be love. And of course, there's a degree of truth to that, but that is what you call relative truth.
And human love.
And human love, and human understanding, or perhaps lack thereof, lack of absorption of inner standing. And so what we say and what we feel is that no, that love is the awareness. It's the ability to be aware of all of it, whether perceivably good or perceivably maybe doesn't feel so good or doesn't look so good, that it's all love, and that this universe is only made of love and could only show love. But the human eye looks at something and says, oh, well, that's not good or that's bad. But when you get to a certain point, you cannot see any differentiation in either one.
And love is the absence of judgment. So without the mind's judgment or condition of what love is, true unconditional love is the very foundation of your true being. And what we always say, unconditional love unconditions the mind. And that's really the deep inner process of going deep into the shadows and going deep into what creates maybe the wobbles in life, that creates the glitches, that creates the fear. Those two choices, love as true awareness or fear as the separate model of self.
Or ignorance in wanting to see with your mind's eye, with the true eye, the real eye, to realize truth.
Yeah.
That's ignorance.
Yeah, it's when you stop ignoring your true nature as love itself and manifest that love into the bliss that you truly are. Being children of immortal bliss, that's your true nature, to be a child of immortal bliss and to awaken that. So why don't you feel that? Well, sometimes you do, and sometimes you may not. And especially when the world is playing in its appearance of certain manifested forms of the light and dark show, of duality, of the perception of duality. But beyond all that is the love that we're talking about. The ability for incarnation, for existence to even manifest, is the love that we're talking about. The cosmic, universal, unconditional love. And that is your true nature. And when you start redirecting your focus on that, yes, I as awareness, not I as in the mind or the body or the emotions, but I as in infinite awareness as that love, as pure spirit, as that love, acknowledging that, remembering that, and making every decision, making everything that arises, every action, every deed comes from that space, comes from that source within you. Then that unconditional love unconditions all the minds, all the maya of the samskaras, or the impressions, or the programming conditioning within the minds, within the causal body.
The scars of consciousness in manifest form.
Yeah.
That's really what the samskaras
The samskaras are the scars of the soul's incarnations again and again that have been in the impressions and have caught in the subtle body that then have manifested into this next incarnation. So when you purify all that, there's no more mind that is creating this perception of duality. Now you still can utilize the mind for a powerful tool that's meant to be, but the love within your heart reigns supreme. The mind is but a servant to love of the heart. And that is what the true nature, your true Christed nature is. That is what the definition of true Christ means, is being anointed by that ultimate truth and love, and being an example and a living embodiment of those teachings made manifest in every aspect of your life, in every moment of your existence. And that's the love that will not only heal this world, not only ascend this world, but will create a complete different world altogether. And that is what we are so blessed to be a part of within our community. And we are so blessed to be a part of this moment with the Saturday Night Alive Global Peace Tribe community, to inspire each one of you to remember that love, to manifest that love. And it's so simple. It's actually so simple, and it's so simple it can be missed in each and every moment. But if you just return back to the very I, who is aware of the I that arises? That awareness itself is unconditional love, true love. And when you return to that in each moment, not because you're not that and there needs to be a redirection, but there's just an acknowledgement of that. And then you can acknowledge the miracle and the divinity of this entire beautiful experience that we call life.
And the wonder of this is that it's so simple that it's as easy to miss as a piece of dust on the floor. Because that piece of dust on the floor is everything. And oftentimes one says, well, if it's not this grandiose thing or this grandiose expression, then it can't be as significant as that piece of dust on the floor. But power is given to those who can bend down and pick it up. And love the same, truly. Because the humbleness, the humility to know that that piece of dust on the floor is equally as incredible as the cloud in the sky and the rainbow filled with light. That's when duality and your polarities really start to integrate, and you start to see the lens of the world in the most profound and illuminated way.
Yes, everything is literally a manifestation of light, no matter what the form of its appearance. That's the phenomenology, but just experiencing everything as light, acknowledging that. And you already are. It's just that your eyes and the retina sees objects, but behind all that and within all that is just a sea of light. And being an example of that, then there's no one to become. There's no one try to be. There's nothing to try to attain other than who you truly are, and your true nature and your true self. Because it's just a redirection to what that true nature already is within you. And then there's a progression, there's a maturation, there's a high alchemy that starts synthesizing within the body and starts metamorphosizing the physical body. And there's many phenomenons that can occur. There's many divine powers and gifts that can be made manifest. This, what you can do with this incredible instrument, you know, is absolutely limitless. And there's total potentiality, absolute potentiality being able to be manifested at any moment when you return back to your infinite presence, your divine presence as infinite awareness, as the true self, the true nature of love itself.
And many of our beloveds who are here and present have witnessed and seen with their own eyes what we say abilities are limitless and what is possible.
Absolutely, you know, and we're here to really catalyze the miracle, to awaken the miracle in its physical experience, and for you to acknowledge that miracle that is within you, and then teach you certain ways in order to really harness that purity, that potency, and those birthrights that you have, but no one's taught you maybe. Or maybe you've learned, or there's a remembrance deep within you that what's possible, there's a divinity that's waiting to be manifested, whether it's been a dream that you've experienced at night, or there's a memory there. But truly, what we say to you is that what is possible in this human instrument, there is no limits at all.
We can talk for a really long time.
We can keep going, but we want to keep it open for any questions.
Well, you know, something that was quite remarkable is just as Sananda was saying, we can awaken to the miracles, the lights went on behind you. It just, if you want the recording, it's really quite sweet. Like, bing! You know, and I think that that's just perfect, because we do have all these years of programming that can lead to cynicism, skepticism, and you're helping us to remember the divine truth, right? You know, it really is, you know, that's why that movie, The Matrix, was so popular, because there's a part of us that are longing to leave the matrix of reality that we've been primarily living in, which is not loving, into the matrix of divine remembrance, which is what you're pointing to.
And also, Scott, we wanted to share that we are going to share more of them coming up on October 9th. That we're going to be doing a show coming up on the 9th that is going to be all about seeking the divine human, and especially the new leaders that are emerging now, which you two represent so beautifully. And also, we're going to go deeper into a conversation where we'll have 2 hours with the Twin Rays on October 23rd. So that will be one of our special events where we can go to the next level of what they have to share and really get into questions and answers there. So beautiful.
Yeah. And also, I certainly want to encourage, they have this wonderful app which has some of the best talks on it. And so if you don't have the Twin Ray app, definitely get that. And please to join us on October 9th for Saturday Night Live, and then on October 23rd as we do a special 2-hour event with them, all about relationship and going deeper. Shekinah Sananda, is there anything else? I think we are a little bit kind of trying to keep to the agenda. And of course, we love what you have to say. So I'm not seeing any immediate questions. I'm not seeing any immediate questions.
Well, we like to keep genderless, so
Yes, we like to keep timeless and agendarless. So,
Right.
genderless and also genderless.
All right, well, here's a question from David Diamond Heart. And it's a great question. What should we, as ascending beings, be focusing on?
Love.
love.
So again, it really comes down to the one choice. You know, you either choose love and you return back to the divinity of yourself, and when you sit in that and you be really present with that, eventually you become absorbed into that profound supreme bliss, that what love truly is. And when you fully are absorbed into that, you taste this nectar of 100,000
Physically.
suns that literally pale in comparison to the light of true divinity. And what that does afterwards is, yes, you then taste this
Honey,
this elixir
nectar.
that is this Christic elixir that goes through the body and literally re-encodes every genetic sequence in your biology, in your organ structure, back to the perpetual nature of rejuvenation, and that pure potency of this. You go beyond chemistry, you go into this sort of electric magnetic power, and it gives you visions of revelations, but it all comes from one thing: returning back to love. Or you can choose the opposite, which no one likes, which is the fear episode that then turns into duality, and then it returns you eventually back to love anyway. So really there's no choice, if we really be honest, because once you taste what you truly are, you can never not wish for that for anyone else. You never not want to not take a moment without that being shared. And that's where all the virtues of the heart. So really, unconditional love, unconditional is the mind. And yes, there's techniques, there's practices, and there's many different things that can help you come back into that with ease and grace. But we don't have the time to share those deeper processes. But the simple one is just, when the eye arises, know that love is behind it and is aware of it, and reflect back on that.
And a key to moving through this is forgiveness.
Yeah.
Simple yet powerful, profound forgiveness. Not only for what has occurred in your life, but for what occurred in your parents' life, for what occurred in your ancestors' life, and for what has occurred in humanity. And of course, you first start with your life.
Yes.
But eventually you get to a point where you're looking at everything, all that has happened in humanity, and you forgive even that at such a deep level that you realize it's all perfect.
And let's do a little experiment, just quickly with everyone. Now, forgiveness. We're not talking about forgiveness from a mental activity, like, I have to really think about who I need to forgive and think. Now, that's a practice. That's one version. But now, the awareness of this conversation right now, is your awareness attached to anything in this conversation? Is your awareness telling you anything opposite to what is occurring? Or is your awareness just completely present? Because when you return to awareness as your divine presence, forgiveness just happens. You're just fully accepting. That's what pure awareness is. It's full acceptance of reality as it is.
And it dissolves all the physical forms along with it as well.
All the pains in the body.
Yes.
The whole pain body dissolves into bliss. The pain becomes your bliss, actually.
Ananda.
So we can go on again about this, but it really makes that one choice. And don't settle for anything less than love. Do not settle for anything less than what you truly are as that love. Truly, it's that. That is what you are. It's what you've always been. It's what you always will be. And every moment in your life, choose love first and allow love to be the outpour of your experience of life.
Allow love to lead the way, truly.
Yeah.
It's not a cliche. It really is the most significant thing that you can do. And it is both the easiest and the most challenging.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really grateful that you're willing to go beyond the agenda. So here's what I'd like to suggest, find the balance. Um, we'll take questions, say for 15 more minutes. That takes us to 7:30, and then we'll continue with the agendas we had planned from that point on. And that'll probably mean that instead of ending at 8 o'clock tonight, we'll end at about 8:30. So I hope that that works for everybody, because there are now, of course, questions coming in. Um, Robin Strackler asks two questions, but they're kind of connected. First off, she asks, have scientists seen the cellular transfigurations? And the second question is, how do we reconcile how humans are causing extinction of so many precious species?
So before we answer the question, just we can flow in any which way you wish, beloved Debra and Scott. we're just in spirit of this beautiful community. And to answer the question first with the scientists, yes, it's actually a scientific fact that plasmic waves, plasmic energy mutates the genetic sequences in the human DNA. It actually changes the configuration of the RNA and how it signals back into the DNA. And what is noticed, and I'm sure you can find written material on this if you research it, but what is found is that those radical cells, those free radicals in the body, what this plasmic energy does is actually goes in and actually dissolves free radicals or any rogue cells in the physical body, and the light sequence of this plasma coherent light, because that's essentially, when you look at the sun is plasma, just so we're clear what the sun is. That's a plasmic source, and the sun's getting its light from another sun, a greater sun. Actually, it follows Sirius in its cycles, and then Sirius is around another orbit of an even greater galactic sun, and then it goes on, probably for eternity. But that light, that plasmic waves, it's scientifically known that it actually mutates the RNA signaling and the genetic sequence within the DNA, and it starts switching on dormant DNA strands that actually starts switching these epigenetic sequences on, because the epigenome is basically meaning outside environmental control. When that environment of plasma is actually absorbed into the cells through certain practices and certain ways, then the light body actually starts being manifested from the very light of your cells, and your energetic field becomes a coherent expression of those sequences within your DNA as well. So there's a beautiful science to this, there's a divine science to this, and there's also a modern science understanding of this. So I hope that answers your question, beloved.
Beautiful. Yeah, and you can put how that lands for you, Robin, in the chat box. Deborah Haviland asks, what is a good strategy for transmitting this divine love consciousness to the leaders of the world, and to end violence and war more thoroughly?
Well, what we know is that when we get enough coherent broadcast beacons, that not only just within your own physical temple, but you are connecting at certain sacred nodes, at certain power centers of the earth. And when you come into unison all around the earth at certain times, that coherency of that plasmic energy that's coming to the earth, that's coming to the bodies and coming out through the grids, gives direct access into the world mind and the world heart and the morphogenic field of the planet itself. And so when there's more beloveds that come together in unity and come together in coherency, that creates a seismic shift in the collective conditioning and consciousness. And the deeper you go in the work that you do, you begin to offset not just one person, but one being that has a full awakened consciousness, represents...
And a genetically liberated template.
And has a genetic liberated template, very good point, represents now millions of beings, because they're free their genetic line backwards in time and forwards in time for their entire genetic makeup. That's the currency of the universe, is DNA, is genetics, is the perfecting the genetic species. Many have tried to perfect in many, many life cycles in many different planets. And right now, the Earth has that opportunity. So if you can do that, which you can, and you came here to do this, you then become an offset for anyone that's in a low discordant frequency, that's not experiencing what we know is heaven on earth, what is the golden age. You become this beacon, and when we come together in community, when we come together in sacred sites and sacred gatherings, it doesn't just offset, it completely changes the paradigm altogether. And so that's one way of supporting. And what we're doing right now, and broadcasting this out to the world, you cannot imagine the transformation this is happening on the planet. You may not see it in the media, because the media doesn't want to play this. They want to play their own agenda. But do know that this is what is blanketing and transforming the world. And more of this is what's needed.
And absolutely, and to add to that, it's already happening.
Yes,
Because
there's nothing you can do to stop it.
The yang, the yang energy that has been so potent on the planet is being transformed right now. And it's being transformed from the inside of the core out. And it's going to take its time in order to do that. But just the advent or the discovery of 5-dimensional, 6, 7-dimensional planets that are being brought in is an absolute measure of the fact that all of what you're speaking about is being transformed. It's really just time and patience, and understanding that the amount of time that it takes on this planet is like a drop on in another realm where creation is really happening. So understanding that thousands of years here might not even be 2 days somewhere else. So it's all relative.
Yeah, and on that comment about the 5-dimensional planets, what we're speaking when we share this is that our solar system is not just the 7 traditional planets, or then adding Neptune, Pluto, and there's many more planets that are actually a part of our solar system, and many of those planets are actually being named of the divine feminine. And so there's this returning of the yin, this divine feminine, and now it's time for the divine masculine to rise in harmony with that arisen divine feminine, and
It's inevitable.
and it's
There's
already
no stopping
happening.
it.
It cannot be stopped,
No.
but to be enjoyed and participate is why you came.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to read a couple comments and then a last question. There was, of course, the question that Robin had asked earlier about the extinction of species. But Connie had an interesting comment. She said, what if the vanishing species are simply walking through the veil? We may not see them in this dimension, but if we open our hearts and imagine them, and we will be with them in the next dimension. So that's an interesting, so kind of Connie's thought, and your, and then coming back to that question about extinction of species.
That's definitely correct.
We definitely want to thank you for bringing that question up, because we didn't answer that.
Yes, and imagine it like this. The species like the whales, for example, and many, many species that have been here on the planet for eons and eons of time, and some for probably billions of years. Imagine if you were unable to progress. Imagine if, for whatever the reason, you weren't able to ascend outside of the earth, but you had to stay here on the same plane, experiencing the same reality over and over and over again. That, in and of itself, does not allow a species to evolve. And so, even though it might appear that the humans are playing their roles in creating extinction, this doesn't allow for an entire species to have their own consciousness by which to create their own realities. So it's just to shift that perspective for just a moment, that allows one to say, that these beautiful beings have lived their experiences. They have learned what they needed to come to learn and give their DNA and lend their DNA to the earth. And now they're returning in order to where they came from, in order to have another more evolved experience for themselves. Does that make sense?
And if we look at it from a perspective right now where they're leaving and they've only left, then it doesn't also open up the lens
For other species.
for other
to come
species
through.
or them to come back at even a higher frequency, for the genetics to actually upscale and upsource to a whole another level. Nothing really dies, it only transmutes. And this doesn't excuse the very unconscious behavior of many muggles that are just so closed in the perception of greed and separation and duality. We're not excusing that behavior, of course. But
everyone plays their role.
But everything, once you understand that consciousness, there's only consciousness, there's only light, there's only that one evading presence. And there's only light, that there's different modulations of light that represent different forms of life. Nothing is ever destroyed. It's only transformed into another expression. Now, again, that doesn't excuse inhumane behavior, but what it does do is allow you to have a perception of absolute compassion for all of existence. And what it also offers is the opportunity to know of your eternal, immortal truth and your true immortal existence.
Mm-hmm.
All right. One last question, and then I really do want to, I promised Deborah we would finish at 7:30 with this and move forward. Alan and Son ask, can you directly communicate, I don't know if they mean you personally or beings in general, direct completely with all of the simpler of God and Goddesses creatures, including viruses?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, good. That was a quick answer. So I'll squeeze one last one in there. And that is a question about the use of media. How can we use the media to raise consciousness?
It's definitely being done.
We're doing it right now.
Using media, media only exists if it's paying attention to, really. There's only advertisements for certain campaigns, for certain agendas, if there's attention being paid to it. Directing attention to things that are meaningful, things that are uplifting, like such as this very gathering right now, and the very message of the very spirits of both these communities coming together, bringing your attention and being a participator, you're also a co-creator of this. And media, nothing's really good and bad. Is there morality, or is there an amoral approach to life? And when there's a coming from the heart with virtuous nature, no matter what the intention is, whatever tool is being utilized is also supporting that intention. And whether it's one platform to the other, we believe that there's going to be an uprising of many platforms that don't take people's privacy and have greater integrity. There's new technology for the golden age, the Aquarian age that we're in, and there'll be new platforms and different ways of connecting and different medias.
There are a couple of events take place on the planet before these things can really be brought forth, and before humanity is really ready at a grander collective.
Yeah.
Because it's still not there yet.
Yeah. So media plays a significant role. It's just what you pay attention to.
Wow.
And what's really important about media right now is that, especially things that have happened, is that all it's doing is really bringing up the unconsciousness of humanity. And not only on grand scale, like countries warring and fighting, but the fight and the war that exists within the human, the one individual that is in divide. Because that's what the individual is. The individual is in divide. And so all it's doing is reflecting, truly. Now, if you choose to blame it, then you need to look inside.
Well, thank you so much. There are several other questions that have come into the chat box if you feel so inspired to take a look and respond. Yeah, but thank you for the incredible wisdom you've shared with us tonight. And it's a lot to digest. So we're going to, in a moment, have Johanna play a song that we can just kind of drop in and digest all this wisdom. Deborah, is there anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've demonstrated what the wealth of wisdom is. They touch on every aspect of being and life, whether it's a hard thing or an exalted thing, or it's a normal thing, or it's, bringing in things we haven't thought of yet, but it's an aha, bringing us huge ahas. It's been amazing. And so this is what Scott and I have been experiencing, which is why we're inviting him to come do more shows with us and to do a special event. So where we can go in deeper. So thank you so much again for your wisdom. A lot of what you say is, is a big yes to me. I understand and helps me understand at another level as well. So October 9th, we're going to be doing a special show. And then October 23rd, we're going to be doing our special event where we can have a whole 2 hours to go in really deep and get all your questions answered.
And all the details at our website, which we'll show you a little bit later on. Globalpeacetribe.com has all the details. Sananda, Shekinah, God bless you. Thank you so much. And we're going to turn it over to Johanna.
Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you, Twin Rays, for such a beautiful, heartwarming and touching in all of the ways lecture. Yes, we beat as one, our hearts always. Always and always. And this next song is, I'm going to actually share. I had already kind of decided to sing it, and then you just kept driving home. Love is the answer. Love is the answer. And this song is actually called Beyond Love. And then the punchline is love. It's only love. So it seems quite fitting after that. Thank you so much for that simple yet very, very deep expression of that, and touching so profoundly on how it affects every aspect of our life when we're living in love or fear. It's a very different experience. So you're going to hear
Johanna,
another...
turn your volume up again. It's still...
Again?
It's
Hello,
still...
how's this now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, so just stay close to that microphone.
And turn it way up. I turned it almost all the way to clipping zone.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. So we can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. This song's called Beyond Love. You're going to hear another voice in here, and it's my producer, Ben Leinbach, Jayu Tal's producer. He's been on the show as well. And we're working on an album together. It's co-written and co-produced, so that'll be coming out next year. So stay tuned. Also, follow me on Spotify next month under my original name, because I'm going to be re-releasing all of my chant music with BY Records, a subsidiary of Warner, under Johanna Beekman. And you've all been trained for OneHeart now. So this is called Beyond Love. Beyond birth, beyond color, beyond shape, beyond doubt, beyond love, beyond love is only love. Love, love, love. Ajay, abe, abe, buachu, anasaka, sakanja punch, alakabaka, akadaya, alakabaka, anamakam, agada, nate, pramate, ajoni, amoni, nurage, narange, narupe, nareke, karaman, paraman, ganje, aleke. Beyond birth, beyond color, beyond shame, beyond doubt, beyond love, beyond love, beyond love is only Anasaka Sakanta Bunch Alakabaka Akadaya Alakabaka Anamakam Aga Adanade Pramade Joni Amoni Narage Narange Narube Narege Karamana Paraman Ganje Aleke beyond birth, beyond color, beyond shame, beyond doubt, beyond love, beyond love, beyond love is only love, only love, love, love. Anamakam Agata Anathe Pramathe Ajoni Amoni Narage Narange Narupe Narage Akarman Paraman Akanje Aleke Anamakam Agata Anathe Pramathe Ajoni Amoni Narage Narange Narupe Narage Akaraman Paraman Akanje Aleke beyond birth, beyond color, beyond shame, beyond doubt, beyond love, beyond love, beyond love is only love, love,
Just breathe for one moment and take in just the delicious energy that Johanna created. For those of you that are new to Global Peace Tribe, this is what we do. Amazing luminary speakers followed by amazing music. And it's just such a beautiful weaving together. Something that Johanna is doing that's pretty cool is lullaby yoga. Johanna, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so if you go to lullaby.yoga or johannasings.com/5days, it'll take you to this awesome website that will where you can sign up for this program where I offer restorative yoga that you can do anywhere. You can do it in a hotel room, you can do it in your bed, you can do it on your couch, you can do it on the floor. You can do it wherever you need to be nurtured. And I sing to you and offer sound healing and reset your nervous system through vibration, through sound, and through really gentle movement that anybody can do. And I was hit by a drunk driver when I was on this path, and I could no longer do yoga, the doctors said. And I know enough about yoga to know that there are a lot of limbs of yoga. And so I began to dive back into this deep practice of bhakti yoga, and I had been blessed in the womb by one of the teachers, major teachers, Ram Dass, and then in my teenage years learned this sacred light language or chanting. I saw you guys saying that you loved the light language out there. It's so beautiful. This vibration really resets our nervous system, whether we know what we're singing or not. And you're always welcome to sing with me, either in a concert or in your yoga practice, because the Vishuddha chakra, our vocal chakra, is center for purification, right? So we hold on to things. We hold on to things when we're stuffing our emotions and not talking about things, right? To move into that power center of the vocal activation of sound and vibration is the most powerful medicine that I've found, along with movement. And so that's the program that I've launched and spent a lot of time during the pandemic recording. I've helped people all over the world with this practice. I've toured across the country, and people have actually resonated and gotten better the way I did. Obviously, I'm no longer in a bed. I'm no longer having shooting neurological pains. I'm no longer 90 years old at 30, which is what happened to me. And so I just like to offer that go to lullaby.yoga or write me an email, shoot me a message, let me know what's up and how I can serve you either in a private session or with this program. There it is, 5 days to come home to you. And it's 20 minutes a day, so you really have no excuses but to get better with me, you know. Because we get these lives and we think maybe spiritual practice isn't a priority. But as you see from all of these quotes, people have received incredible relaxation of the body, mind, emotions, calming your busy mind and reducing anxiety, tension, stress. And even for me, I dropped to my natural body weight somehow and have stayed there for 10 years since I started to breathe and let go of my cortisol levels, which is where we hold on to stress. And we think going to the gym is going to help. Yes, exercise helps, but maybe not stressing out really helps. So that's what I help you do.
Johanna, thank you so much. And we're going to have one last Johanna song at the end of our evening tonight. So thank you, Johanna. And here to share some very exciting news is my partner, Debra.
Yes, Scott. We have just birthed a new website. Some of you probably know that. Some of you have probably already registered for season 7. It is phase 1, and we've done that through a generous donation of one of our sponsors and your help. And again, this is phase 1 because we really want to make our website really user-friendly and be able to show all the replays and really be able to expand with all the new things that Global Peace Tribe is coming. So I'm just going to do a brief share on what's happening here. Okay, I guess Scott's going to share.
Oh, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'll share.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So like everything we do, this is a huge collaboration with our team and with us working on it. This is a vision that Lindsay, one of our graphic people, had with the Global Peace Tribe, birthing the new world, basically. So this is our first image here. And you can see from the sliders here, this shares a lot of what we're offering with Saturday Night Alive and some of our incredible keynotes that we've been able to feature. Greg Braden, Grandmother Flor de Mayo, Marianne Williamson, Michael Beckwith, and some of our other incredible magicians, Deepak Chopra and the beautiful Nina Gray, who did our promo video. And Straight Talk. Scott does 2 shows, as a lot of you probably know. Straight Talk is where you can go really deep with certain presenters. His host is Trish Wright. And then he also has Sacred Sunday, of which he's featured Sananda and Shekinah on. And that happens every Sunday. And we invite you to register for season 7. And here's access also. And then for people that sign up, we have a free gift of our special event that we did with Swami and Larissa Stowe. Here's more information about season 7. And here we are with showing all about Saturday Night Live, Straight Talk, the supporters parties and special events, a little more about Saturday Night Alive, and some endorsements. I'm going to put a link in the chat box. We'd love your endorsements of what you think, either for the website or for our promo. It really helps. And here's Terry Russo, who's one of our, and Foster Gamble. So I'm going to put a link for that. And here's some of our upcoming shows. Here's some of our luminaries, of which there's so many that we have featured. We're so blessed to start this at the pandemic, where originally people were sitting at home, and we got so many incredible, prominent keynotes, and they're still with us. There's more shows coming up, and incredible musicians, Larissa Stowe, Deva Premal, and Meetan, Krishna Das, and of course, all the extraordinary entertainers. And us as hosts and our co-hosts. We've been totally blessed to bring in incredible co-hosts to help create the shows. That's one of our tricks of creating a show every single Saturday night, which is quite a feat, and our broadcast partners. And again, this is phase 2. We really want to have all the replays on there. We want to have it even more user-friendly. Here's where you can register. So we appreciate your donations when you register. And we also have our donation portal, where if you donate there, it's tax deductible. So we hope to continue to get your support so we can keep growing this and serving you and allowing Spirit to come through and share more and more with you as we journey together on this and we connect. So thank you so much. And now we are going to go into breakouts. Or do you have anything you want to share about that, Scott?
I just want to introduce a couple of other people that are really precious to us that have joined us. And so I'm going to do that real quick. And then we are going to go into breakout rooms. Trish is my teaching partner. So I'm putting the spotlight on her. She's coming to us from, I think she's in, are you in Idaho still?
I am currently in Montana.
In Montana. Well,
yes, I'm currently.
Trish is traveling the country with her cat, Winston, but she's my teaching partner for Friday Night Straight Talk. And we, of course, have had Shekinah Sananda on that show. So thank you, Trish, for all that you do. And then I also want to introduce Alan and Son, also known as Dr. and Mrs. Future. And they are who create a lot of our videos. There's Alan and Son, and they create a lot of the promotional videos that you see, including the ones for the last few weeks. And they're also some of my oldest and most dearest friends. So thank you, Alan and Son, for your amazing contributions.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a real privilege to work with so many amazing people and to come up with the visuals and the storylines for this new heaven on earth crew that we're working with. So thank you.
All right.
Yeah, you guys lift our hearts. I'm very grateful.
Yeah, it's been very creative. It's really enjoyed the process working with you.
And Dr. and Mrs. Future have had a radio show for eons where they have all the latest visionaries. You had Bruce Lipton on just 2
We had
days ago.
Bruce Lipton on yesterday, yes, and he's talking quite extensively about his opinions on the whole COVID situation, and very interesting. So yeah, it's this is an interesting time because it's either fractalizing us or bringing us together. This whole process with the virus crisis, and I'm seeing that for many of us it's a growing process, and it will bring us all ultimately into a higher consciousness.
I have to add to that we do appreciate the resonance that is created by all of our energy together, and every smile, every act of kindness, every light heart that helps people get through their day is just massively appreciated and is doing so much good. And it feels so good to have the support of our tribe to come home to, and then to see how great it is when that energy goes out in the world.
Yeah.
Now, thank you, Sananda, and you're absolutely right. Thank you for that reminder. Let's all keep smiling. All right, we are going to go into breakout rooms, and Debra, just 15 minutes. There'll be approximately 5 or 6 people per breakout room. If you find yourself in a room with only 2 or 3 people, I might move you to another room, because sometimes I created the rooms about 45 minutes ago and some of the people may have left. So, Debra, you want to explain kind of what?
Yeah, and so what this party is about is for us to meet each other too. And we've done this every single party, and it's really great because it's not just about us talking at you, it's all of us getting together. And so we're going to go in a breakout room, just talk for about 2 minutes, introduce yourself, and just share what's alive for you. Maybe you want to share your experience with the Global Peace Tribe, with what we're doing now. Maybe you might even come up with some suggestions that you can give to us. We're always open to that. Or maybe the Twin Rays has inspired something deeply in you and you'd like to express that. So everyone take a couple minutes and just share who you are, where you're from, and whatever's alive for you now that you want to share to create connection and bonding. And it's really fun who you end up with. Everything's synchronistic, and it's meant to be. So people are still coming in. So okay.
All right, so what's going to happen is I will open the rooms, and you do need to click join. You need to click join room. You'll also see a message coming up on your phone or your computer that says join room. I do say there's a lot of rooms right now with only 2 or 3 people, so hang in there. I'll be moving you around to try and get approximately 5 people per room. So we are opening the rooms, and please go click join room. Please do that. Okay. Oh boy. Let's see. Assign to room 24. Uh, 17, 19, 15. 17. I'm having some of you that came in a little bit late, I'm having to assign you to rooms. So it'll just take an extra second, and in a moment, you'll be getting that message to join your room. There we go. Okay, there we go. So again, remember to click join room. Click join room for those of you that are still here. And there's quite a few of you actually, so you got to click join room. Okay, I'm going to move to room 5, move to room 5, and move to room 5. Switching a few of you around so we'll have more people in each room. Boy, Let's move you to 9. Move to room 8. Move to room 8. Move to room 8. We're going to move you to room 11. Moving to you to 11. Moving you to 11. Move you to 13, to 14. And again, remember, you've got to click join room, everybody. Move to 17. Move to 17. Move to 17. 4, 5, 3, says 19. We could use more people than 19. Oh dear, why? Let's move you to 5. 5. Move to 19. Move to 8. So we've got 4. Could use 1, 3.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Wendy. Oh, hi,
Yeah,
Lori.
it's Laura. Hi. I saw you on a video, but I couldn't get through to you, so I just pressed talk or something. I'm driving.
Okay, well, we're in breakout rooms now, and we're going to be in breakout rooms until about 8:10. So when do you think you'll get to a place where I can where you'll actually be able to come on camera?
Well, I'm going to be driving the whole time,
Okay,
and
so
you
you know,
I mean, I could just say hello by audio. It's fine.
right. Okay, we can try that, but what I would suggest is, so it's not ideal, obviously, because everybody else is on camera and we're able to see people. So
Well, I saw a camera picture of myself driving before, but my eyes will not look towards.
right. All right, well, why don't we try that? Why don't you come on back at about in 15 minutes? Would that work for you, Lori?
I can try. I mean, how much I can do while I'm driving, I'm a little bit confused
Right.
about.
And you know, you don't have to push it. I want you to be safe driving. And of course, I'm balancing, running. We've got 150 people here, so I'm trying to.
But you can just say, you could also just say, Lori, one of our sponsors from before, wishes a beautiful hello to all of you. She's driving, but something you can see that.
Okay.
You can just speak for me.
Okay, I will speak for you.
It might be a little safer.
Okay, that sounds good.
Before that, what I was hearing you, I was seeing your video of you and me, but no sound.
Right. That's
okay.
Yeah. Right.
For quite a while. For quite a while.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's good to talk to you, and then maybe we can connect around 9 o'clock tonight, my time, 6 o'clock or after.
Yeah, it'd be more likely.
Oh, that's right. You're on your way to exercise. So yeah. So
6:30 or after. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Okay.
All right, I'll
All
talk to
right,
you.
it'll be by phone. It'll be by phone again.
Okay, great. Well,
Okay.
all right, we'll talk to you then.
All right. Thanks.
Love you, Lori. I had to go with a computer automated system of putting people in because we've had so many people come in and out. So it's a cosmic joke. One, oh boy. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this would be a good time.
Bye.
Hi, this is Dia speaking now.
Hi, Dia.
To the global peace tribe. So, yeah.
Hi,
Shekinah, I love the color there. Shekinah and Sananda. Yeah, brought me there.
Scott, I have to say hello directly to you. This is I'm taking my chance. I won't do this again. I have you both on my telephone and on my computer, which I often do, so that if one of them drops, I have the other one. But well, I'm getting two for the price of one, right? Aren't I?
Yeah. Well, that's because I have it on a second one so I can watch what's happening. So it's part of the hosting thing. Do you want me to, do you need to go into a room, Dia?
Well, I was in a room, and I'm in a room on the computer, and I can return to that. But I thought that you were part of a room, so I'm so sorry. But
Oh, no.
I'm saying hello. So I'm going to leave.
Hi, Dia. I
Hi.
certainly enjoy all of your participation. Thank you so much for coming
Oh,
to
yes.
all of my shows and all of your wonderful participations.
Well, and you honor me so much often. So thank you. And I look forward to lots more. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you.
Oh, thank you so much. Love you too. Look forward to getting to know you.
Yes, yes. It is happening. Okay. All
All
right. I'll let you get back.
Okay, thank you so much, and thanks for dropping in, and we'll see you
All
soon.
right. Big
Thank you,
hugs.
Dia.
Bye.
All right, big hug. You know, that's a reminder that for any of you who are watching the replay, we're in breakout rooms right now, and I forgot to pause the recording. So I'm going to pause it now, and I'll pick it up again when we all come back together. You can just fast forward. Well, yeah, I'll pause it now. And thank you for watching the recording. Weren't the Twin Rays amazing? I mean, I can watch them over and over and over. There's so much that I learned from them, and we're very blessed to have them helping to guide the way for us. All right, I'm going to pause and resume when the breakout rooms are done.